Kristie, and welcome to the Washing Up podcast, featuring just me. Shh! Stop it! Stay in there. I've been inspired by Mel Buttle to just be the solo host tonight. And on tonight's show, where are the notes? Have you got the notes in there with you, Chris? Oh, fine. I'll let you out then. Oh, wow. I tried.
For God's sake.
Look.
What the hell was that?
Well, I was putting my Harry Potter cupboard to a different use. And
The horror I just saw in there.
Look, it's just my, shrine to all things,
It was weird.
Skarsgård.
It was weird.
Just a lot of, Alexander Skarsgård.
It was a Randy Scandy of a different kind. Anyway, my name's Chris. This is the Washing Up podcast. There are two of us. It's not just her.
But didn't Mel do a good job of it?
MVP of the night, Mel Buttle.
She obviously had notes.
I'm going to say that right there.
Notes to self. Take notes.
The moment, the highlight of the night, the entirety of the night was just Mel Buttle's work. It was absolutely outstanding.
The Bakers were working their butts off. Really.
We definitely miss Claire, obviously, and obviously, fingers the grand final. They're not going to get one person in the grand final. I believe that even if she was dead, they dig the corpse up and reanimate it Weekend at Bernie style.
Weekend at Bakeoff.
There's been so many mojitos in this series. Dan usually.
It could be Weekend at Bernie's 5.
Bernie goes Bakeoff.
Bernie goes Bakeoff.
But there's been so many mojitos in this series that realistically, couldn't you see a sort of reanimated Claire just sort of marching with a mojito bake in each hand?
Yes.
This is very Weekend at Bernie's.
And Matt and Maggie behind her puppeteering.
That could be awesome. I can see this. Speaking of puppets, before we get in, I did say, and if you haven't listened to it, please go and listen to our chat midweek with Nicole Rogers, the executive producer.
I think it's the best episode ever.
I think it's the best thing we've done. I really
Bombshells,
do. We found out
poo.
We found out information about the shed, which we're not going to tell you. No. You need to listen to that podcast to find out. It is genuinely bombshellish. But she also gave us a little bit of information about tonight, which we do have permission to say, which is, with no Claire, they did a bunch of takes where Mel Buttle had a Claire Hooper sock puppet.
Oh my God. Hilarity.
A Claire Hooper sock puppet.
I hope it was a floral sock.
Oh, don't we all?
One with a funky print.
And unfortunately, just for timing, because as Nicole did say during the week, they get over 120 hours of footage for every episode.
Down into an hour episode.
Well, less than 45 minutes, really, when you're taking ads. They had to cut it out for time. But I'm so gutted, and I hope one day that the show reel of Puppet can make its way out somewhere.
Or at least hope that Buttle can use it to, pitch her one-woman extravaganza variety show.
As a double act?
Yes.
Mel and Friends with Claire popping up on the shoulder.
We've had a lot of, puppet and comedian, we had that chick with the teddy bear.
Nina Conti,
that's it.
Rod Hull and Emu.
Yes.
Which was literally just an excuse for a man to grab people because he was an emu. Now, there's been a bunch of David Strassman with a million different characters.
Daryl and Dickie Knee.
Well, Daryl wasn't working Dickie Knee, but still. Which one of those was the puppet?
Look.
Was it Daryl Summers or was it Dickie Knee?
It's hard to tell with that much plastic.
Mr. Summers. Anyway, so let's get into Mel Buttle's Great Australian Bake-Off. So... it does feel like this series has been trying to kill people and bump people off. So we lost Laura, obviously.
Yeah.
Now we lose
Buttle
Claire.
the assassin.
I wonder if Mel is just quietly bumping people off one at a time.
In a beautifully cheerful way.
That'd be delightful.
She's probably just taking her dogs and distracting them. Going, oh, come here into this Volkswagen and pat my dogs. And then be like, oh my God, puppies. And she just bundles them in and drops them
Never
off.
to be seen again.
Yeah, she drops them off at Luna Park with an endless park.
No, you're missing out.
I don't think she's trying to kill them.
She wants them never to be seen again, Kristie. There's only one place you can hide people.
Where?
Zumbo's Just Desserts. Anyway, so let's move on. It is a party food episode.
I hope we see Monica again.
I love you, Monica. You know that. We love you deeply, but come on. Anyway, Netflix will see. America will see you. No one in Australia, though. No one.
No one.
Anyway, party food was the theme. And they have a really interesting concept of what constitutes a party, especially when we get to that technical, which was a 1970s party. We will come
Still
to
a
that.
party.
It did feel very much like keys went into a bowl when you ate that dessert.
But you know what it was? Party in the Bakeoff shed. Gotta put my entremet and my shoe, not a cup.
I'll give you a chance in a minute to rant about that because it's coming.
I was trying to...
I know you're trying... That was the greatest Lil Nas X impression I've ever heard. Anyway, so, vol au vents. Remember Lil Nas X? It was a thing. Vol au vents and 12 others. And literally, that's what I called it. It was 24 savoury pastry canopies.
Mm-hmm. Canapes, not canopies.
No, canopies. Oh. No, they are canapes. I know, but it just pisses people off when I say... Have you not worked this out? It pisses people off when I say canopy, and the reaction is brilliant. So, yes, it's 24 savoury pastry canapes. So, they had 2 hours to make them. For me, it's all about the vol au vents.
I know, you're all about those vol au vents, but
I am
those vol au vents,
bandit.
no other pastry.
No other pastry. However, vol au vents look weird before you actually bake them.
Because they don't look like they're going to shoot up. They look like...
It looks like an aerial shot of Roman ruins in Britain.
It really
If you've ever
does.
watched Time Team,
my favourite.
A vol au vent looks before it's baked like an episode of Time Team. Look, you can see the outside of the Roman villa there.
What we don't see on the vol au vents are those little people doing the electro survey, you know, when they've got those 2 stick things they put in the ground.
Right here, Tony. So what I've been doing is I've been digging a test trench.
Oh, I can see your balls hanging outside your jeans. Oh, they're my balls hanging outside my jeans because I'm doing a Cornish accent.
I don't know all about that.
I
Anyway,
find that guy really sexy for some really weird reason.
that is the first time that has ever been spoken about him.
I can't explain it. I'm just kind of like, I just want him to treat me like a trench.
Well,
like,
we all know.
just
Well,
deep.
we all know what I'm cosplaying as at Halloween next year. Anyway, moving on.
Jean shorts.
No, I can't. So we had Matt and Maggie as the substitute Claire for On Your Marks, Get Set, Bake, and I've got to admit, bit patchy,
Look,
bit spotty. Look, timing was a little bit out. You can see Mel was trying to coach them through it.
I do love their brave attempt, and I like how it shows that, you know, the judges have their skill set, the hosts have their skill set.
And ne'er the twain shall meet.
No.
And meanwhile, can I point out, I really love the fact that Maggie Beer went all jazz with it and went offbeat, because everyone else was on the on-beat, and Maggie's like, no, hip cats.
Yeah.
Offbeat, gotta be offbeat,
It's going to add some percussion, some
Now,
staccato to this.
Can I point out that
What?
I want Don at any party I'm hosting.
To wear that apron?
Just in general, I want him in any party. Don and his party! I want Don at every party I host until the end of time. It can then become Don's party. But I think that Don at a party would just be awesome.
If he starts a catering company and calls it Don's Party, but, you know...
Don's parties.
Don's parties. But in the contract it says that every party must open with Don going, party,
Yeah, exactly.
party, da-da-da-da.
And a Volkswagen apron.
No, tonight it was the dogs.
Yeah, the dogs were tonight.
Okay.
The dogs were tonight, and by the way, that apron has gone to a very good cause.
Has it?
Yes, he auctioned it off as part of his Movember.
Oh.
We put out the links the other day on the Facebook and on the Twitter. Mm-hmm. Check out Don's Movember page.
Congrats,
there's
Don.
still some time. You
Yep.
can still maybe just duck in under the bar there, get some more donations in there and help it out for a really good cause. My brother's is also out there as well, Andrew, and I do recommend donating to him. I mean, we can only donate as Get This characters for so long. So...
Yes, Mrs. Olivia Buckley donated $50.
Rex Hunt donated today. Anyway, we got the How Good Is Butter montage, which I love. Whenever there is pastry, we get a How Good Is Butter montage. And what I really love, I love that this is the only show on television that has shaved butter.
Yes.
Like, because I look whenever I'm watching Bakeoff and they start with the pastry, and they're doing the folds, and I'm like, why is he folding cheese into the... Oh, it's butter. Okay, it's grated butter. Okay.
Like, I was stoked. I was ready for this. I would have, I think, mown down Matt and Maggie to get into the shed at that point because I'm a bandit for fucking pastry. Even vol au vents, like, I'm not a fan of your salmon vol au vents. Just because of the fish, right?
They don't taste that fishy.
But the smell, like, it's the smell. It's like... the smell of overboiled vegetables to me, like that kind of like cloying, ugh, kill me now kind of smell. But I'm so glad that there are nights when I'm not home and you can cook them.
That is
you can enjoy
the perk. You go out, I have salmon vol au vents.
But I'm now inspired. Baba ganoush vol au vents. Oh, pastry and baba ganoush.
There were some really cool ideas. There were some really cool ideas in there. But, I mean, you said that you would have pushed through everyone to get to the shed. I mean, I would like to have seen you try.
Why?
The weather was inclement.
Okay.
And that's. I think there were canoes required. I saw an ark. Like, forget the dogs running around in the park. There was just an ark carrying them all this week.
Just saw these animals wandering by 2 by 2.
Yeah.
Just unicorns getting distracted by the Bakeoff shed.
All right, everyone hold hands. And the unicorn's going, oh, wow, are they vol au vents?
Because as we know, unicorns are always stoned.
Always stoned, always.
Little fucking
So
420 bandits.
we start off with Sunny, and Sunny was going differently with her savoury cones.
Yeah, with the wonton wrappers, like the spring roll wrappers, doing them in a
Now,
little... And you were like, oh, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, I have.
No, but this also harkens back to an idea that you had this week.
Yes.
And I want you to take this public.
Okay, people of Earth, I had an idea the other day because, like, unfortunately, I love lettuce, but sometimes my body doesn't like lettuce. I won't go into that. And I really wanted some sang choy bao. I'm like, how the fuck can I get sang choy bao in my face? And I'm like, I could put it in wrappers, but not to make it like a dumpling or wontons or whatever. I'm like, you just fry up your spring roll wrappers or your dumpling wrappers and you make Chinese nachos. So san choy nachos. Like, you have your san choy bao filling, but instead of the lettuce cup, just the spring roll
Your
wrapper
genius will not be acknowledged until long after you're gone, but what an idea.
And, like, you know, fresh bean sprouts on top, like all your water chestnuts in it, just deliciousness.
We will be trying this, by the way, in the next week, so we will report back. What I would also like to ask you, though, I would like to ask you, out there, everyone who's listening, what would your sort of random mashup idea be? I mean, last week was obviously the week for that where they were combining all the bakes.
Yeah.
But, like, Kristie's come up with that idea. What would yours be?
That's
what would
where
you
I was
do?
inspired from.
Yeah, what would you do? What would you come up with? So, Sunny was making her savoury cones, which are tuna tartare and yuzu.
Yum.
Now, you know what?
Christopher Buchanan.
No, I'm about to rail against something.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
Fucking tuna. You weren't expecting that, were you? Here's the thing.
What?
I love salmon. I hate tuna.
But tuna tartare is delicious.
I cannot stand it. I cannot stand tuna.
Why are we so opposite in our fish taste?
I don't know.
What is going on? You don't like oysters? Oh, you know what it is. It's because when we go to a seafood buffet,
we can all eat everything.
We can swap, and you can have more salmon, and I can have more tuna.
I won't eat the tuna. I will eat the salmon. But
I won't eat cooked tuna though.
So
I'm not a fan of that.
So
raw tuna, I'm like a fucking grizzly bear.
Let me just add something to this equation.
Except they eat salmon.
Let me just add something to this equation right now, because with the mention of yuzu, I need to bring up the game card. Okay. I just looked away for a minute, disaster. Didn't happen.
No.
So you're safe, everybody.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Baker uses something they've tried in a previous round. That happened.
What? Who?
David.
What?
Mushroom duck shell.
Yes, he did.
Indeed. Drink. If you didn't before, drink.
You do it now.
Booze in a bake.
Oh
that
my
happened.
God, yes. There was the rum, there was the mojito.
Dan made mojitos. Verjuice. Well,
I got a nice close-up of that.
We got a close-up and certain people highlighted it for us in photos. That was great. Well, you don't want to go home this week. That was said.
Yep.
Yuzu. Now, little did I know that yuzu was going to hit a couple of times. Wow. Drink. Someone declares they want to be the star baker. Well, that didn't actually happen.
No, everyone just wanted to get to the next fight, like to the next round.
Speaking of things that didn't actually happen, matcha.
Thank fuck.
I'm so fucking... When I saw green, I went, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. But that's okay. It was just pistachio.
Well, I'm glad when you saw green, you got excited. You got a pleasant surprise where I thought I saw cob and was bitterly disappointed. But keep going.
Yeah, one more and then we're there. We're almost there. This is the hardest decision ever. Well, God, they said that 1 billion times tonight. So the last part of Sunny's, by the way, was the baba ganoush with pomegranate vol au vent.
Yeah.
Which was a really cool idea.
Loved it. A beautiful little flavour combo there. Really happy with it. I would have that in my face.
Now, Don was starting
hippie.
to prepare his snails and, of course, came up with his, I'm not going to be working at a snail's pace. This is why we need Don at a party. He would be the lifeblood of the damn thing.
He'd walk up to the dip table and pick up a Jats and go, I'm having a cracker of a time.
And someone would like accidentally bump him and he'd drop it and he goes, oh no, me Jats cracker. So like that, he would be great. He would be our sort of person. Now, Matt walked over to Dan and went, did I smell truffle oil? Mm-hmm. The answer is always yes, by the way, because truffle oil is really
very distinctive.
Fucking pungent. And they warned him at the time and they went, you need to be very careful about this. So he did. His vol au vents were mussels with fresh spinach on top.
Yep.
And his other one.
Yep.
I'll say it first.
Okay.
And then it's you.
All right.
12 choux with wild mushrooms and Montgomery cheddar. And the truffle oil.
So
the floor is yours.
Just after we had our beautiful talk with Nicole, I saw the Bakeoff Australia page post their little preview of this coming week, and my little heart sang because on a tray I thought I saw cob loaves. And I'm like, finally, we're here. The cobs have arrived. And I thought these tiny mini cobs had made their way into the kitchen or the Bakeoff shed, and I was ecstatic, and I got a really good caption of it, and I put it on the Facebook page for the washing up, and I was like, oh Brandon, there might be cob, oh my god. Then I saw him doling out the shoe. Please play the Apocalypse Now music. It's just, how can I say this without being over dramatic?
I don't know. How can you say this without being over dramatic?
Giving it the gravitas that it needs. You can't do that to people. We the fans have been waiting for cob loaf for so long. Just a bit of bread, just with a hole in top, the inside's cut out. It's delicious filling in there. That mushroom stuff, that would have been fine. That would have worked well. I
don't think you need the theme, but I've got something better.
What have you got?
The end by the doors. Keep going.
So, it's just cruel and extremely unusual to promise a cob, whether you meant to or not. You're a cob tease, Dan. You're a cob tease.
It's so sad. I've never seen you like this.
I need a moment. I think I'm going to go into the room I locked you in and just hide away because, cobs, when you discover cob loaf as a child, it's one of the miracles of growing up, because there you are at a party and, you've just been used to the little boys with sauce and party pies, and then somehow you've transitioned from childhood to not childhood, not quite adulthood.
Not a girl, not yet a woman?
Not yet a girl, not yet a woman. Because lo and behold, on the table appears this loaf, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then someone, usually an adult, introduces you to the idea of picking up a bit of the bread that's been toasted lightly on the side and dipping it in the middle. And as soon as it hits your tongue and your mouth, it's like an explosion, and roses bloom and universes collide, and
on a serious point. On a serious point.
Forever.
On a serious point.
Yeah.
This was actually the week to put cobs in there because it was party. And this actually would have been the week to do a cob loaf. In all honesty, we talked to Nicole about this the other night. We asked Nicole the other day and said, what about a cob? And she's like, I really tried. And
can we actually call this party week without a cob loaf?
If there's no cob loaf,
is it even a party week?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's a sad party week. That's what it is.
Dan, you had a chance to be Kristie's favourite baker of all time, and guess what? You blew it.
Blew it, Dan. You're dead to me. Well, not really. I still love you.
Not really. That's the problem. But anyway, Now, at this point, Maggie then warned David about bechamel. Not a warning you anticipate ever getting in your life. Got to be careful with bechamel. Got in Himmel, these bechamels fight like madmen. So chicken and mushroom and leek within his other one, and vol au vent was the mushroom duxelle and the beef with the beef short rib sauce.
Yeah, that sauce looks so good.
So I've become a bit of a bandit for mushroom duxelle after the challenge the other week. It's really good.
Yeah, when you were making it, the smell, because you use the porcini
There's a lot of work.
dust. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of work. You got to drain. If you think you've drained things before,
no.
You got to these mushrooms. When you drain the mushrooms with the duxelle, that's a lot of work.
Like, I reckon that's the reason why we're in drought, right? Is because all the mushrooms,
have got all the water.
Everyone's like mad for mushrooms these days and truffle, and they need a lot of water.
Yeah, they do.
They only pop up when it rains.
So Don made mini tarts, and they were snail, cauliflower, and broccolini.
Which, seeing them, it'd be the first time I actually consider eating escargot.
I probably would have eaten them. Like,
yeah.
I don't mind that. I would have eaten them.
I'm glad they weren't sandy.
We'll come to that. So the vol au vent were duck à l'orange with mushrooms.
Yum.
I would have destroyed those vol au vents.
Yeah.
Now, he did say snails can be quite sandy, at which point Mel looked at him and went, "What a texture on an insect." Sandy. And I mean, look, Don was good, though, because he said straight up, the first time I ever had snails, I hated them. Because it was just the way they were prepared.
What insect would you like to try?
Crickets.
Same. Every time I see those cooking shows where they go to like I think it's Thailand or Vietnam.
Vietnam. They all do crickets.
Yeah, like the big wok of like crickets in like spices. Oh, that looks fucking
amazing.
amazing.
Really good, in all honesty.
Because I loved going to teppanyaki and having like the prawn legs cooked.
Yeah.
You know, when they do that really crispy.
Yeah, the texture, same sort of thing.
I just imagine it's the same shit. Different bug.
Now, as part of her MVP week, of course, Mel did at one point. There are a couple of great calls. One of my favourites was when she went, "You got to fill them up, but don't stuff them up." You know what I mean?
We do, Mel.
We definitely know what you mean, Mel. Now, poor David, he had to get a bit of help towards the end of this. He's like trying to stuff them all in. They come over. So Dan and Sonny came over. Yeah. And it was good. Again, they've been helping each other all the way through. This week, Dan and Sonny came over and helped David. And we'll get to the technical in a minute and we'll have a bit of a chat about what happened there.
Yeah.
But the judging. So Maggie Beers said that Don's looked inviting. The pastry was really good on the snail one.
Yeah.
Very well cooked. The duck one was a little bit softer. The orange and the duck went beautifully together.
Of course, it's duck and orange.
But it was slightly under. Not as under as your mother's effort at duck, but slightly under. David's. David's were well cooked. They said the leek added sweetness in the chicken one, but the chicken needed a little bit more salt.
Yeah.
The beef one was really good. And God, it looked good, especially when they added the sauce before they did it. So they poured the beef rib sauce over the top before they took the bite. It was really cool.
That was food porn. That was like, can we just get that? What they needed to do was just slow that, like pause, go back for a slow-mo replay and put a bit of Barry White underneath it.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
They said the Dan's pastry was nice, but it was slightly blonde. The choux was really good, but the truffle oil did dominate the flavour, but the Montgomery cheese did help to balance it. And Sonny.
Cheese balances everything.
It does. Maggie loved the yuzu wasabi combination, which is interesting for Maggie to say she loved wasabi.
I reckon cheese could also balance your chakras. Like, you could align different cheeses with your chakras, and now I'm just thinking of ways to combine cheese with my spirituality, and I'm here for it. You're giving me such a look, and I would give me that look too, because fuck me, I'm a wanker sometimes. Moving on.
Anyway, as I said, Maggie loved Sonny's yuzu wasabi combination, which was really weird for Maggie to like wasabi.
So you'd go for a red Leicester for your base chakra, because that's like coloured red. You come up to orange, so maybe like a cheddar, like a really... Or like American cheese, because that's really orange. Oh, what's that Jack, what's it called?
I don't want to help you, but I know the answer. It's Monterey Jack.
Monterey Jack is orange. You put that in your
pipe and smoke it. Anyway, the vol au vents for Sonny were bent, or as she called them, drunk pastry. The flavour was delicious, and Matt said that one of the reasons they might have done that is actually the pastry was really good, and it was. They said it was
use
near
blue
perfect
cheese
pastry.
for your throat chakra. Keep going. No, I'm just sticking out loud.
Anyway, so the technical. Now I do need to focus on the technical, which is the Sicilian Cassava cake.
Okay, Sicilians. Speaking of green things,
the Sicilian Cassava cake.
Okay, Sicilian Cassava cake.
Now with ricotta
Not cheese.
and candied fruit with marzipan.
What do you reckon?
I reckon this was a Maggie B clearance sale. All Maggie foods must go.
All preserves must go.
I wonder if
We've got persimmons. We've got figs.
I wonder if Maggie's recipe for this involved her opening the pantry one day and going, "What's left?" So,
for God's sake, Maggie, you can't make any new preserves till you've gotten rid of the rest of them. But we might run out of persimmons. We'll never run out of persimmons. You've got a persimmon for every person on this planet. It's a person and persimmon.
So they took the veils off to unveil quince paste, and of course, the juice.
Fresh from the field.
And everything else that's ever been invented in life. Dan's comment immediately was, "This cake is over the top, like me."
Italian as well.
Now, can I just?
But are Sicilians Italians, or are they like?
No, they are. They are Italian.
Are they the Cornish of the UK?
Let's go with that. What I loved about this production.
Sorry, the Cornish of the UK.
Yeah,
Sicilians like the Cornish of the UK.
So what I loved about this was there was no pretense, there was no comment either. They went from piss poor in the shed to a bright sunny day with Matt and Maggie sampling it outside. They did the pan outside and suddenly bluebirds and sun. Yeah. And the wonderful weather was out, and it was great. It was almost like Maggie and Matt had brought the sun with them. The bakers were slumming it.
Surely they could have afforded to get Mel just out with like a watering can.
Just pouring it over the top. Mel was a bit busy doing every fucking thing else.
True. Well, now know that there is a fourth wall.
There is a fourth wall, which was broken a few times the other night. But yeah, it was. I would have loved to have seen sock puppet even. The Claire sock puppet just pouring water over their heads.
It's okay, I've got this.
Now Matt turned around and said to Maggie, "This looks like a party on a plate." I have to ask a question. What fucking parties are you going to, Matt?
Psychedelic acid tripping parties. Fuck me.
Now, one of my favourite Instagram accounts is 70s Dinner Party.
Isn't it everyone's? Like, just the amount of frankfurts and gelatin.
And if I was looking for a cake for 70s Dinner Party, especially after it's decorated, the Sicilian Cassava cake is the most naff thing ever.
It really reminded me, on YouTube, there's a guy, Kalen, who I think Ellen picked him up from YouTube, and he does really cool reactions to weird-ass food being made.
Yes.
And now he's being brought in to actually make them and try them. And I think it's like a 7-Up or a Mountain Dew cake, and it looked like that, and it's like a terrine, or a pudding, and it is fucking green, and it really epitomizes America.
It's also fucking green. But... Death at a funeral, shout out there, people. Death at a funeral. Early Dinklage work.
It's just Valium. Just take 2.
Take 2 Valium. So, yeah, it's very 70s Dinner Party. It's got, like, candied fruit on the outside of it. It's got
bowl with keys.
It's got, like, a doily on top of it in icing sugar.
It's on an orange bench top.
It's very green. Now, when they were making the sponge, it was really interesting. They started to make the sponge, and everyone is looking at everyone else in a very confused way. And Don at one point just looks and goes, "Everyone else is separating their eggs. I'm going to start this again." Now, David is then worried that things aren't as puffed up as they possibly should be.
Not puffed up and happy to see you, unfortunately.
No, but no one was sure. Everyone's like, "I don't really know." Sonny at one point just goes, "I'm just throwing it in the oven. I don't know anymore," and just threw the thing in the oven. Like, go away. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Then they had to make the orange syrup. Now, again, there wasn't a consistency, so it was making orange syrup.
Not a Creole Lady marmalade.
No, not a Creole Lady marmalade.
Which would have gone with the 70s theme, just a bit of disco.
It would have, especially if they'd gone with a mocha choco latte on top. That would have been really good. Now,
you made a voulez-vent with bouillonouche and stuff.
But
So swell.
They had to then work out if they wanted the syrup thick or runny. As Sonny said at one point, if it's too thin, it won't soak into anything, it'll just run off.
Yep.
If it's too thick, it just won't absorb. You've got to get the right consistency, and working that consistency out is really difficult. David, at this point, went and checked his cakes. And he pulled his cakes out, and he went, they haven't risen. And rather than put them on the bench and work out what to do, he literally just took the pan, walked over to the sink, and just turned it upside down in the sink. So, if you were wondering, was David going to possibly try to use that one? No. No is the answer to that question. He just flipped it in. I've never seen anyone just flip it into the sink and go, fuck that. Go on.
This is bad.
Now, at this point, David was obviously very emotional.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. It's a semi-final, and you're like, oh, shit.
Here we go. And he's been working his tits off
now
for the whole season.
He didn't.
Look at him. Do you see a tit on him? No.
No, not
no
one.
boobs whatsoever. Tits off.
Now, he didn't ask for any advice. He didn't ask for any help. Mm-hmm. Dan just leant over and just started saying to him, what you need to do is do this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
Dan, of course, being the only person who's made one of these before in there. He said openly, I've made them many times. And a lot of people, I know there have been some people out there who have been grumbling during the season going, oh, they're still sort of occasionally talking during the technical and you're not supposed to do that. To those people in this situation, fuck off.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because...
Why are we making an exception in this spot?
Because in this spot...
Yeah.
It wasn't advice that was sought.
Yep.
He didn't go asking. He didn't go begging. He didn't look at anyone else and go, I don't know what to fucking do. Mm-hmm. He was prepared to just start again. And if someone else then wants to volunteer advice in a technical, that's okay as far as I'm concerned. Right? It wasn't... He didn't give him consistencies. He said, you just got to whip it until it gets to this point. The other point with that is that David still ended up coming last in the technical. So it wasn't like he'd won the technical with this advice from other people as well. He still ended up coming last. What this was Dan being a good human being.
Yeah.
I have zero problem with it because it was Dan being a good human being. David didn't ask him for the help. Dan just looked at him and went, I want to help you. Do this. He didn't do anything for him. He said, you've got to do this, this, and this.
Do you think Dan would have done that for anyone else in the shed?
100%. Okay. I think the same thing would happen with Sonny's. I think the same thing would happen with Don's. I think Dan would have gone and do this, 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 and this.
Okay.
But I don't think it was because it was David. I think it was because somebody else was in there was struggling.
Yeah.
And we saw they all went over and they've all helped each other out in the last couple of weeks again because it's very Bakeoff. And again, I think that everyone would have given assistance. And again, they didn't make it for him. He still had to do it.
Yeah.
All Dan said to him was, try this as a different technique. You know a challenge is tricky when Sonny is ready to throw it. Now, part of the reason you're ready to throw it was that her sponge ended up being too thick. So it wasn't going in because you put the marzipan in the bowl.
Yeah.
Then the sponge. And she's like, this isn't sitting. And it was the closest I've heard her come to swearing.
Well, it just needed a little wedge cut out of it. You just got to wedge it. But I guess, then you're worried if you've made too big a wedge, and is it going to be too tiny then? You've wasted a sponge. You have to re-wedge it.
You've got to think about what a wedge is worth. What's a wedge worth? Anyway. So...
look at the wedge worth.
Unfortunately, Don...
Oh, it's the Edgewood, I was thinking. What's Wedgwood?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, Don realised then that he'd taken his syrup too far. And that came back to haunt him, unfortunately, because the problem was then that it was gone too thick. So his sponge ended up, when they tested it, being very dry because the syrup couldn't soak in because it was gluggy.
And I guess then that would affect the flavour because you've also got that layer of the syrup.
Yeah, you've got an extra layer of the syrup that hasn't been diffused. And again, you've got dry sponge and like gluggy syrup. And gluggy, by the way, is Sonny's word. So well done. Now, when they got to the decorations, it was a little bit of a reflection.
It was them it was
them in a cake.
everyone. Yeah, it was everyone like just embodied in their decorations. I feel.
I mean, the only thing I will say is of all of them, Dan's was more understated than it would possibly have normally been if it was Dan on a plate.
Yeah, because he knew what to do. Yeah.
Don went full Don.
Well,
it was flamboyant. It was wonderful. It was amazing,
and it follows on from his put all the gorgonzola and all the bacon in it.
Why wouldn't I put all the bacon and all the gorgonzola in it? I don't understand. The answer is
wasn't it? No,
that was that. It was gorgonzola. Yeah, it's like prosciutto.
No, it wasn't prosciutto.
It was.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, but all the gorgonzola anyway, at least. And it's
was
like
an aged dry ham.
Why wouldn't I put all of that in there? And the answer was, well, no. Why wouldn't you? I would. I would have done the same thing. And
my response is, make yourself a cheese platter.
And Don's comment later on at the end of this challenge was, I put too much fruit on it. I wanted to use all the fruit.
It was pretty fruit.
Now, as a result, what he did was they put the patent on top of the icing sugar and then he covered it. And he thought about this, by the way. They went, and stop baking, and he looked at it and he goes, why did I cover up the icing sugar? It
did look like a little Carmen Miranda hat. I loved it.
Or in honour of Clive James, it was something that would have been worn by Margarita Prakatan. So, the judging. Sonny's, they said there was a little bit of too much sponge. The texture was right, but there were a few mistakes. David's was a bit flatter.
Yep.
They said it was nicely soaked, however. Mm-hmm. But the filling inside was over whipped, and as a result, it came out a bit like butter. Which I was waiting for them then to go, and how good is butter? But they didn't do that.
I just realised what these cakes are. So we've seen the princess cakes as Shrek boobies, right? Princess Fiona boobies. These are Princess Fiona boobies with nipple tassels.
Very much so, you're right.
Pasties.
The pasties.
Little pasties.
Pasties, you're right.
They're burlesque Shrek boobies.
The funniest part about David's judging, by the way,
Yeah.
was that the sponge was great. And as he said later on, he goes, the only thing I couldn't do was the sponge, and the sponge ended up working, and everything else sucked in terms of it was butter. Dan's looked exact. The decoration was a bit lacking. Texture was great. It was very well soaked, and the sponge was really good. Don's wasn't as smooth. The sponge was the exact same on the top and bottom, which was great, but it was dry because it hadn't soaked. But the mixture, they said, was probably the best mixture. They were really happy with the mixture.
Yes.
So the final judging there was David was fourth, Don was third, Sonny was second, and Dan wins the technical.
This is the ultimate stuffing cake, isn't it? Like, if you were stuffing a cake...
Sorry about the coughing, by the way, people, asthma and all that.
And bushfires, fuck me. Like, just smoke everywhere. It's like 420 permanently, but without the high. Just with more need for Ventolin and other preventers and inhalers.
And Brickinell, yeah.
Yes. What were you talking about?
I was moving on to the showstopper. So...
Do that.
The showstopper.
Right along.
20 entremets.
Yum.
So they had to explain, and the audience at home going, we know it's a multi-layered mousse cake. We know. We are veterans at this.
But one needed a mirror glaze.
You needed a mirror glaze. The mirror has two faces, if you believe Barbara Streisand. Mm-hmm. In this case, the mirror only has one cake. 4.5 hours to make your entremet, or as David put it, a little overpriced cake. Now,
that's pretty much it.
It is kind of it. I've had some amazing entremets.
But how exciting are they to see? Like when you go to a restaurant or a patisserie or somewhere that has a whole cabinet full of entremets.
I got a story.
Oh, you have a story?
I've got a story.
Oh, tell us your story.
So
Take me into bed and tell me your story.
So this was a while ago, I may have been seeing somebody in the fine city of Brisbane. And I went up...
Who was she? No, I know who it is. Hi, Nissa.
You know who it is. Funny enough, she's now a chocolate and pastry chef in the UK. And we went to a place in Brisbane. Fuck it, I'll name them. Le Bonchois.
Ooh, fancy.
And they do amazing, like, mirror glazed cakes and entremets and things like that. And I've gone into Le Bonchois and I'm like, oh, my God, these are incredible. and I've gone to take a photo of the cabinet.
Oh, no.
And I thought the guy behind the counter was going to jump the counter and bash my skull against it until I bled from the eye.
And he didn't?
And he didn't. He just screamed at me about, we do not take photos of these. Nobody takes photos of these. No photos of our cabinet. And I walked over, and I'm sitting at a table. And I've ordered 2, and I've got my 2, and they're at the table with me. And I start to take a photo of those, and he comes over and yells at me about taking a photo. And I went, I bought these. These are now mine.
But
yeah.
What if you took them? Could you get them takeaway?
I like the idea that you take them home and you go to take a photo of them and someone kicks your door in. No.
No.
Do not take a photo.
A little angry French chef jumps out of the bag. No.
You thought you could outsmart us with your clever taking home. But yeah, no,
I'm going to set my escargot on you.
Yeah, so I got almost beaten up by a French pastry chef because I wanted to take photos of how awesome his work was.
Oh, that's sad.
It's incredible. It's unbelievable.
Is this the days before Instagram? Do you think now they have a hashtag? Oh my God, now they...
I bet there's a hashtag.
Bet there's a hashtag.
Anyway, so...
I bet you.
So Dan kept himself to type.
Yeah.
No, we're not both, by the way, checking our phones.
To see if there's a hashtag for Bonchon.
So, Dan made a holiday fling, which is what his whole thing was called. He had a mojito.
Yeah.
His mojito was mint sponge and a lime mousse and a rum jelly. Rum jelly sounds like the name... Rum jelly kind of sounds like the name of an independent band.
And now welcome to the stage, Rum Jelly. Yeah, this is a little something I wrote while I was travelling across America and being all Indian cool and stuff. This goes out to the love of my life, who I will dump later on tonight. Being really slow, singing a triple J song. Guess who has an Instagram account?
They're taking photos of their own stuff. You assholes. You absolute assholes. I got beaten up by a French pastry chef. Look at the fucking thing.
Even the cabinet. Go back. There's
the cabinet.
There's a cabinet. Look there. Is that the cabinet? That's the cabinet.
That's ridiculous. Anyway. We know this makes for great podcasting.
Look at that. Look at this.
Look them up. Le Bonsoir Ascot. Okay. Look it up. Don't follow them because I'm not encouraging it.
No.
Right, this is...
Hypocrites.
100% not a commercial. I'm angry about the fact they tried to beat the fuck out of me.
This is a complaint.
Yeah, exactly.
Podcast complaints time, people. Send them in.
So Dan also made a tropical sunset, which was a coconut base. The first duckwas of the season.
Ooh.
We got some duckwases.
Yes, we did, because everyone wants duckwas.
We love our duckwas. Passion fruit. Yuzu. Everyone
loves yuzu. Now he's giving me a death stare.
And
I'm
banana,
going to rate this for
and
you.
banana on the top.
I'm surprised he didn't stick his middle finger up at me. Stop. He's now sticking both middle fingers up at me and doing a little dance. And now he's doing it so he winds the middle finger up.
So David decided to do a lot of sponges this week in this challenge.
He's just taking the lipstick cover off and doing lipstick while he's holding.
By the way, the only person actually doing any of this is Kristie, because she's doing it while she's narrating the behaviour. I'm sitting here with my hands on the lap. David decided to do lots of sponges today as penance for yesterday when he fucked the sponge up.
David, I want you to come to our house and fuck up cooking a sponge, because then you can do penance for the next 6 weeks.
That'd be great.
Just
we'd love that.
After sponge. Maybe fuck up some shoe.
So Don was doing a duckwas.
Yep.
With a mango compote and a white chocolate pate bomba.
Pate bomba.
And
it does sound like a burlesque dancer. Welcome to the stage.
White choc pate bomba.
White choc pate bomba. Do 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 do. And she's just like covered in like...
You know what it works to? The Game of Thrones theme. Pate bomba, pate bomba, pate bomba, pate bomba. Anyway, they'll want a royalty if we keep singing it.
Yeah.
Notice I'm worried about that, but I'm not worried about the fact that I played The End by the Doors. Anyway.
Two of them are dead now. You don't need to worry.
So, the second one had duckwas, again. Praline.
Yeah.
And dark chocolate.
Bandit for that.
Yeah, the second they went praline, you're like, ooh.
Even cracked and all.
Come to that.
When
they then showed Don after he'd taken his sponge out, it had taken off a little bit. He looked at it, he goes, it's not supposed to rise quite that much. And that was probably the first sign that there was a bit of an issue. David. Now, what David actually did, I'll mention the second one first because I want to talk about his main one. Mm-hmm. So his second one had a hazelnut base with a walnut and hazelnut base with dark chocolate sponge, raspberry, white, and milk mousse opera cake.
Yum.
The other one was a carrot cake. Carrot cake base, carrot jelly.
Which Mel said looks like multivitamins, I believe. And I'm like, yes, rectally taken multivitamins.
Suppositories.
They were massive.
They were suppositories.
Like I'm glad they had the mirror glaze. That's all I'm saying. Because
yeah, the mirror has two faces indeed. So
I'm sure they're the type. Have you heard of that woman now that suns her butt? To really absorb the sun's energy, she lies out.
I did hear about that the other day. That's weird.
Yeah, welcome to America.
Of all the weird things, that was probably the weirdest this week. That says something.
I'm pretty sure she uses carrot cake suppositories.
Yeah, that's in a week where Rudy Giuliani says that the president is perfectly innocent and will not throw me under the bus because if he does, I've got things I can say about him. And I'm like, hang on a minute, dude, you've literally just said he did something. The weirdest part was somebody sunning their asshole. Anyway, Dan was so confident this week, he was planning Matt's reactions.
Yep.
He's like, I want to get a reaction like, ooh, or a ooh. And he's like, he was acting him out. He planned the reaction. That's how confident he was.
He was on fire.
Now, Sunny produced a pastry frame at this point.
Wow.
Which was interesting. So she put the pastry frame around it to do the opera.
Yeah.
She made a berry opera cake with lemon jacon sponge. She did a couple of jacon sponge, actually. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen that many jacons this year.
No.
A lemon jacon sponge.
They weren't jacon, they were jackoff.
Yeah, they were jackoff. That sounds wrong. Anyway, lemon jacon.
Where are you going? I'm going to jackoff.
Yes. Lemon jacon with a strawberry mousse. And the other one was a ginger jacon with a pear jelly and a dark chocolate mousse.
Ginger jacon.
Ginger jacon. That, again, sounds like a drag queen.
Yes.
What's your name? Ginger jacon. Now, Sunny was desperately trying to find a cool place for her bakes to set. And unfortunately for her, all the fridges were full. She's running around.
It's like, that one's full.
Then the first sign that we had dry ice was Don's goggles. And
Mad Professor. It did look a little...
Carl Krasinski had gone into the shed. Dr. Carl was in there because he had the colourful apron and the goggles.
Well, at one point, I thought a guy in a puffy vest and a plaid shirt was going to come in on his
Great Scott.
His skateboard, asking for help to get back to 1985.
Plutonium.
Yeah.
Now, when I mentioned Dr. Carl there, did I mention that my aunt went to university with Dr. Carl?
Really?
Yeah, my mad auntie.
Where? What uni did she go to?
So, mad auntie Irene, no longer with us. She went to university, and Carl used to come to all the parties.
Ooh, what did he do? What was his party trick?
What was his party trick? Making homemade fucking alcohol is what Carl's party trick was.
Brilliant!
Apparently, really fucking good quality. Anyway, so it was dry ice time, and it's always fun to watch them work with dry ice. Like, it's always great because you get the goggles, you get the gloves, and it looks like there's a science experiment going on.
And it's particularly because we don't see it all the time. Like MasterChef, it's being brought out, nearly every second week. But...
Speaking of the dreaded M word.
Yeah?
So we got to the mirror glazes, and what we then found, and I didn't think about this at the time. I wasn't thinking about it. And then when they took everything out of the fridge, it was all in dome molds.
Oh! You're right.
You didn't think about that, did you? It was all in fucking dome molds. MasterChef has infiltrated.
What's going on? It's Columbaris. I blame him.
Now, David was worried about cutting the dome mold because he didn't want to tell his wife that he destroyed the dome molds by having to cut them out.
Just go buy more. They were awkward shaped.
Meanwhile, Sunny was aggressively happy.
Yes!
Like everyone's that's a victory! I'm so freaking excited! Puts another one down. This one's amazing!
She would be awesome to take to Putt-Putt, right? So last weekend, we went to Putt-Putt. Our lovely darling Gabs was there. It was a friend's birthday. And we divided into two groups. We divided in the people who were there to have a good time and enjoy the golf course. And then there was the ultra serious group. Now, as you could imagine, I went to the Let's Have a Good Time group, but Mr. Competitive over here, I reckon Sunny would go to the competitive one too, and she would just be like, yes, in your face!
I only yelled a couple of times when I got a hole-in-one, it must be said. So,
I got a hole-in-one in Risk It for the Biscuit. That was the only one I did.
You did a really good job on that one.
I did. I took a photo and everything.
I got a hole-in-one on a wrestling one.
Oh, yeah.
I also did one where I stood there for forever working out angles on this thing, and everyone was looking at me going, this will want to work now. And sure enough, bang, 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 straight in, hole in one.
That's the Forrest Gump one, wasn't it?
So,
because they had them all themed, yeah.
Yeah, I stood there and worked all the angles out and then played the angles.
There was a chess-themed one, and I just was like, one night in Bangkok. It took me a while. I think I just took the 6 for that one.
But the performance was out of this world.
Well, yeah, it's like...
Now, unfortunately, when he pulled them out of the oven and finished them off, Don... His chocolate ones, while they looked like they were fucking delicious, Don had decided that he was obviously going to be inspired by future events and was going to reflect the horrors of drought in this country and provide inspiration to farmers around Australia with an entremet that was really badly cracked.
He loves a sunburnt country, a land of cracked entremets.
Well done. So,
of sweeping chocolate work. And mirror glaze.
Well done.
Yellow mirror glaze.
Now, yellow mirror, you missed it. Well, yeah, because he talked about that at one point. What he's talking about is interesting enough, he goes, I'm making this one for the mango, and I want it to look mango coloured, but it's looking too yellow. And I'm like, they're very yellow anyway. I get what he means.
Yeah, they're like slightly peachy and orange. Oh.
It's not orangey.
Do you get excited?
How do you go, by the way, about explaining a colour of a mango without using other fruit? Because we both said very orangey and very peachy.
Yes.
How do you describe a mango's colour without saying another fruit?
Is anyone else excited when they start seeing the fruit box signs, like on the highways?
I am, but it usually means that the coconut guys are out there. Oh, they're fantastic. There's a group of guys near us who sell coconuts out of their van, and they've got about 10 signs. And
the hype on them just increases as you get closer.
They answer questions. So it's like, fresh coconuts. Yes, real coconuts. We crack them open. You can drink out of the coconut. Yes, the coconut tastes really good. It's a question and answer as you go down the road.
Delicious, icy, cold coconuts.
Never stopping. Never stopping in a million years. No. But I appreciate the sign work. All right. Now, this week, not so much, but in other weeks, and if you're thinking about applying for the next series of the Great Australian Bakeoff...
Brandon Black.
You might want to work on, all your different types of food. And one thing you can improve is your sugarcraft.
Absolutely. And here to talk about Australian Sugarcraft magazine is Claire the Sock Puppet. Hello, everyone! I'm Claire the Sock Puppet, and I'm here to tell you all about Australian Sugarcraft magazine, which if you haven't got a subscription to yet, get on it. It's the magazine for you. It's full-colour digital magazine with step-by-step tutorials, recipes, tips and ideas. Subscription is an annual cost of $19.90 Australian. And you receive 2 issues per year. Go to facebook.com/Australian Sugarcraft for more information. Now, I must away. I've got a lunch date with Miss P.
Oh, dear. That was incredible. And...
never knew a sock could actually podcast that well.
No.
I fear that I may be replaced at some point by a sock.
Quite possibly. So...
Did I replace you with a sock? Nah.
No, I'll get there first.
Yeah. I don't wear socks.
Somebody has to work out how to operate the equipment.
I can do that. I'm not inept. It'll just take me a little while. There might be a few glitches. There might be a lot of swearing involved, but, there's not much difference.
As long as you don't get locked out. So...
on the roof.
For those people that don't get that, you need to listen to the podcast all the way through from Tuesday night. Anyway, So the judging, David, the opera cake was a bit high Not often do you hear people complain that an opera is too high, but apparently David's was.
His opera cake was a soprano, and they were looking more for an alto.
So the mousse was really good. Matt wanted more biscuit crumble, but I'm like, you've already said it's too high. Do you want more or less? What do you want? The carrot cake, however, was great, and Maggie said that the jelly tingled.
Oh.
And Matt just looked and went, well, Maggie said it perfectly.
Which I think then plays into it being a fantastic suppository. I presume.
The tingling, you presume. They said the shine of Don's mirror...
Maybe a bit of pessary.
The shine of Don's mirror cake looked really good. The mango was great, and the duckwa was one of the best that Matt has ever had.
There you go.
He didn't say in this show. He said one of the best he's ever had. He did want more mango overall, though, in the entremet. The chocolate crunch was really nice, but they said the mousse needed to be more set, and they needed to have more of it in the chocolate one. They said it was a bit of a shame that it had cracked because the flavours were so good.
Yeah.
Matt pointed out that he hates inedible objects on top of the food.
So having a wedge of lime.
So having the wedge of lime, he said, you got to pull it off before you eat it. It's a problem.
And then what are you going to do with it?
I agree. I hate it when I get something where, occasionally when you get a cake where you've got something on top of it you can't eat, and you've got
like a little plastic name or something. It says fucking happy birthday.
I don't
or some
care.
Shit. Don't need that.
Yeah, it's what the cake.
You know,
they
little
said
statue of a balloon.
They said the sponge.
Can't eat it.
They said the sponge was.
You know what you need? You need Australian Sugarcraft magazine so you can make edible fucking balloons.
Exactly. Look, context.
Yeah.
They said the sponge was great. The coconut balanced really well. Good texture. They said the tropical one was also really good, and the flavour was really fresh. Sunny. The flavour of the berry is great. The flavours blend really well. Maggie then also gave Matt the Maggie nudge on the ginger one. I said that the ginger and the pear were a taste sensation.
That's the moment when I've gone, she's just leveled up over down there. And particularly when her opera cake was just, it was very delicate, very refined. Now,
overall, Matt and Maggie praised everyone for their work. I said that it was just a really good episode.
Yep.
Now, what I also liked was they clarified that the judging today, because it was so close, was going to be a bit more reflective of the work as they'd gone through over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Which I have no problem with, as long as they clarify what they're doing and how they're going to break a tight... And this was a tight deadlock. They sort of said that it was going to be a bit more reflective of a general pattern overall, not just
the episode. And as we know, David's had a number of stronger weeks. I mean, Star Bakers, for example.
Star Baker twice.
Over Don, who has been Star Baker.
Yeah, everyone's been Star Baker. Left.
Yeah, so I agree that it was a hard decision. Definitely hard. I think definitely hard is what Matt said, and then I said that's what she said right after. So it's sad to see Don go, but
it was hard to send anyone home at this point.
Yeah, just.
Sunny wins Star Baker. Look, it's well done for her, but to be honest with you, Star Baker at this point, it doesn't mean a lot.
No, and everyone...
And not to downplay it, but it doesn't
no.
mean a lot because it's about getting to the grand final.
Yeah.
And Don, unfortunately, goes home.
But the good thing is that we'll see him at the grand final.
We will.
Yeah.
So, next week, the grand final of the Great Australian Bakeoff.
It is.
And...
Yeah.
More importantly as well, over the next week, our podcasting input goes up.
Yeah.
The output goes up a lot. I'm not going to promise the 7 and 7 this time. We actually did 8 in 8 last year.
Promising nothing. My idea of
We're not promising.
We're just going to see what the fuck happens. I might get the cat on to interview.
What I will say is expect a hell of
Leo exclusive.
Expect a hell of a lot more in terms of the podcast in the next week or so.
Probably just lick the microphone a lot.
He will.
Okay.
In the next couple of weeks, expect a lot more podcasting. There's going to be several episodes coming out in the lead up. There'll be a lot of episodes afterwards as well. Once this series finishes, there's a lot of stuff coming.
The series might end, but this podcast doesn't.
No, and more importantly than all of that...
You'll get your ending.
That sounded weird. Anyway, more importantly than all of that...
Yeah?
We are building, of course, to the Night of Nights. The Price is Right, apparently.
It's kind of like happy, joy... jets.
I wonder if we can get the rights to the Price is Right music for the Virgies. We're doing that now.
The Virgies is right.
Virgies. So the
Come
Virgies,
on down.
The Virgies, of course, are happening. It is the first combined Virgies ever. It will be taking place in Hawaii.
Oh, can't wait.
I am so excited.
Got my sarongs.
I'm happy to travel.
Got my thongs. You know, here's a little anecdote from my family. You know how in America thongs aren't what we... So my older sister and my nephews, who were very little then, so Sayed was about 3, and they've gone to one of those big kind of restaurants, and Sadi had kicked his shoes off in the thing, and Michelle's come back in to the restaurant and gone, have you seen my son's thongs? And looked at him, their jaw dropped, and there's a little 3-year-old Sadi just like sitting there smiling. He's like, my thongs.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So cute.
So our podcasting output is going to go up. There will be a lot more coming. So keep a listen out for that. There will be a lot of guests coming up. We can't say anything yet, but there are a lot of guests coming up. There'll also be some Canadians as well in the lead up because obviously we've finished the Canadian season recently.
Yep.
So I'll be talking to a hell of a lot of people about a hell of a lot of things leading up to the Virgies, the Bakeoff Night of Nights.
So if you've got nominations, tweet them in. Facebook them in. Maybe we should put a Facebook post up. Nominate your Virgies. PM us.
So send us messages on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Don't care how you do it.
Just do it.
Put in nominations, categories, people who should win awards, whatever.
The closest nominations category, maybe some for a host that you really like.
Yes. The Virgies committee will take all nominations into consideration this year.
Yeah.
We've been told it is a very broad field. We haven't been told anything about our budget.
No.
Especially after last year's unpleasantness.
We're still having budget negotiations and discussions.
We're working on it, but we've got some ideas around that, and we think, hopefully, if the numbers come in, fingers crossed, it'll be exciting. I mean, but we're going to Hawaii, so I mean,
tickets are booked.
You can't.
Got them on Afterpay, so we're right.
Thank you, Jetstar. And you can't. The thing is, you can't.
Thank God we didn't go Tiger.
I know. I don't want to be structurally integral to the plane, but
you might have to borrow some bunting to just
get there.
Bind the plane together.
Yeah, but
strap an engine on.
We've already. I mean, they're sending
Keep
us
the pilot in their seat.
The committee's sending us to Hawaii.
Yes.
So surely, if they can send us to Hawaii, our budget this year is huge.
I'm thinking the setup is what I'd like is like the luau from Grease 2. Complete with pool and the motorbike to jump it across.
I'm not falling off a cliff and dying so that people can go to a school play after.
No, I don't know. Just the luau scene.
Prowling.
Look, okay.
Johnny's at the bottom of a ditch. We're going prowling.
Okay, so it's sex pest T-birds and murderous T-birds. We're not going to have that. Just the luau scene, The
luau works. I'm okay with the luau.
We'll just coconut it up, This girl needs some C in her B.
Anyway, on that note, on that bastardisation of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we will be back several times this week.
Her A. Coconut in her arms. That's it.
Meanwhile, we will be back at some point in the next week, a few times probably, leading up to the grand final, definitely next Thursday.
I'm going to wear the pineapple shirt with...
Pineapple slut. Yeah. The pineapple is clearly the slut. Until we're back next time, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we will catch you all later.